to thank all the supervisors for joining us today and joining us later in the vote. I want to first bring up Supervisor Fielder to talk about what she is introducing today. Thank you.
I want to thank all of you for being here today on this beautiful, but this year has just been so full of challenges. I want to thank my colleagues who are here, Supervisors Walton, Melgar, Chen, who are also co-sponsoring a resolution that I will be introducing today in support of our TPS neighbors. I also want to thank co-sponsors Chan, Mahmoud, and Sauter. I want to thank the folks at Carecen, the Latino Task Force, the Living Wage Coalition, NorCal TPS Coalition, SEU Local 87, all of our labor partners, and the National TPS Alliance for your work to advocate for our communities. Given the overwhelming support on this resolution thus far, we will very likely have a unanimous vote at the board today. And that is because of all the amazing people that have been organizing day in and day out for our immigrant communities. The Board of Supervisors has come together time and again to demonstrate unwavering support for immigrants' rights. This year we've passed several resolutions affirming our sanctuary laws, and we will continue to do so as long as we need to demonstrate our solidarity and commitment to our sanctuary city, no matter what nonsense is coming out of the president's mouth. Of any of the current countries that receive temporary protected status directly affects our immigrant communities in San Francisco. They are our neighbors, they are our family friends, our co-workers, and of course our family members. Many TPS holders are also essential workers who provide care for patients in our hospitals, take care of our children and elders, among other countless contributions. And also I want to thank City Attorney David Chu, who has filed amicus briefs in support of plaintiffs in several lawsuits to protect TPS holders. The ending of TPS has been deemed unlawful in several courts thus far, and the legal battle continues. And we also must demand that our California leaders in Washington push for continued TPS protections and a pathway to citizenship. All that, I just want to end. Thank you so much for coming out, and together we will fight and we will win.
So we really want a resolution. We need to pass a resolution that help us to prevent us from being deported, that help us to prevent it to maintain the TPS program with the path to citizenship. So it has been a long time, so we need to do something. And now we have here to ask the Board of Supervisors to help us to pass a resolution.
I am Mirna Melgar. I'm the supervisor for District 7 on the west side of San Francisco and a proud immigrant to this country from El Salvador. I will make my remarks in Spanish first. Muchas gracias. Yo soy la supervisora Mirna Melgar, represento el Distrito 7 aquí en el oeste de San Francisco y soy una orgullosa inmigrante a nuestro país. Mi familia vino a San Francisco huyendo la guerra de El Salvador y vinimos con una visa de turistas y nos quedamos. Y fui la primera mujer latina que fue elegida a la mesa de supervisores en un distrito aquí en San Francisco. Ahora tenemos 2, pero esta es una historia que es muy de San Francisco. Nosotros los inmigrantes hemos hecho esta ciudad para este presidente que está persiguiendo a los indocumentados y a los documentados, gente que vino aquí y que está siguiendo las reglas y las leyes de este país, con el programa de TPS, que es temporario, pero que nos ha dado a tanta gente la oportunidad de integrarnos aquí, y les debemos, después de tanto esfuerzo, de tanto trabajo, que dar una oportunidad de quedarse aquí, de ser ciudadanos, de hacer las cosas así como nosotros hemos prometido en este país. Necesitamos darle la oportunidad a la gente que ha contribuido tanto de su sangre, de su familia, de su esfuerzo para hacer este país y esta comunidad mejor. Y este presidente, que es hijo de una mujer inmigrante, esposo de una mujer inmigrante, ahora haciendo lo que está haciendo es tan cínico. Realmente nosotros como ciudad de San Francisco vamos a defender a nuestra comunidad, asegurarnos que todos tengan la oportunidad de quedarse en este país cuando hemos aportado tanto. Muchísimas gracias a la coalición por todo lo que están haciendo. Muchas gracias a todos.
This federal administration's focus on dividing our communities, on separating families, is not only sickening, but it is something that we have to continue to fight in order for him and for everyone to understand that we will not accept a lot of these proposals and a lot of these policies that are coming from the White House. Our temporary protected status families are our business owners, our homeowners, our co-workers, our parents, our grandparents, our folks in community that have been contributing productively to all of our communities for decades. And for them to be under attack, along with other communities of color, along with poor people, along with the folks who need us the most, we have to make sure that people understand that we will not tolerate it. So I'm excited and happy to have my colleagues standing here with me. I'm excited about this resolution that says, as a city, we will continue to fight for our TPS families and communities, because as we always say, even though it may not be you today, most certainly, if you sit back and watch, it will be you tomorrow. So we will fight with legislation, we will fight with rallies, we will fight bringing communities together, and most importantly, we will fight with people's power.
Buenas tardes. Our children are sacred. Our children are sacred. Nuestros niños son sagrados. Estos niños son sagrados. The Trump administration, we have to say it since they use that word, is attacking America. Because we are America. From the south of Argentina to the top of Alaska, Canada, we are America. And their strategy is to sow seeds of chaos, destruction, based on lies. Well, here we have to bring us back to our senses based on truth. And one of the truths is that people who are here with TPS were brought here, came here, because of the violence that we perpetrated in all of their countries. That's why they're here. Is that true? That is the truth. And we have received those families with open arms because we recognize our guilt and our criminality in destroying their countries. Is that right? We placed their house on fire, and when they're coming across to safety, Trump wants to shoot them, deport them, jail them, and use them for cannon fodder and for cheap labor in a prison, in a detention center where they're gonna get paid 5 cents an hour to make all kinds of materials for the corporations. So that's the truth about it. We're here to support this resolution to say San Francisco recognizes our culpability, our responsibility in the violence that brought families here, like the supervisors have all said, who have not just come here to ask, but have come here to contribute. TPS holders contribute, and they deserve citizenship, period. Muchas gracias.
It's been about 30 years, brother, since he and I and so many of you have been fighting for what San Francisco stands for. I want to thank all of you for representing not just the diversity of our city, but the diversity of our world. As a son of immigrants, as a former immigrant rights attorney, but relevant for today as your city attorney, I can share with you that our office is doing everything we can to stand with our immigrants, because we know how far our country has fallen from the promise of the Statue of Liberty. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses. America is supposed to be a refuge for those who are fleeing persecution and violence and war and environmental disaster. And the fact that we have an administration that is ripping families apart, destroying our workforce, sending people to certain violence and certain death, it's not just inhumane. It's not just unconstitutional. This is not how human beings should be treating other human beings. And so I want to thank our immigrant rights organizations. I want to thank our sisters and brothers from labor. I want to thank our community groups who are standing together to say that every person, every human being deserves a place in our community, deserves a place in our country. And this is why our office, we were the first city to sue, to say that birthright citizens should always have a place in our society. We are the city that is leading the litigation with 50 other cities and counties to say sanctuary cities have our rights and we cannot allow our law enforcement to be deputized by ICE. And this is why the San Francisco City Attorney's Office, we led on 2 amicus briefs in 2 of the lawsuits around temporary protected status. 1 lawsuit for Venezuelan and Honduras community, another for Nicaraguan and Haitian communities. We have to stand together. We have to stand together, and this is why I am so grateful to Supervisor Fielder and your colleagues for this resolution. And also, an important part of this resolution tells Congress, we need you to make sure that our refugees, the folks that are doing the real work in our communities, have a place in our community. And it is my belief that just as there are days when it's dark and stormy in our city, the sun comes out. If we all hang together, someday this cloud will lift, the darkness will lift, and our immigrants will be citizens within our community. Thank you so much. Let's hang together.
The San Francisco Labor Council stands unequivocally with our immigrant community. The fact that this president would take away TPS protections from workers who are fleeing tragedy in their country, we're allowed to come here, get jobs, and then just arbitrarily take that all away, is absolutely absurd and absolutely immoral. Our immigrant community needs all the support that we can give them, and the Labor Council is here for them, and we will fight like hell to make sure that they can continue to stay here, work here, and thrive here. We are challenging all employers to stand up for their workers. You employ them, you use their labor, and you need to stand up with workers and stand side by side to make sure that your workers are protected. Employers have a moral obligation to make sure that their employees can stay here, whether it's through sponsorship or other means. They need to stand up for their immigrant employees. That is the Labor Council's challenge to all employers. Stand up for your communities. Stand up for the small businesses that employ them. Stand up for our immigrant communities. We all need to come together and make sure that we protect each other. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here. We are gathered here today because our families, our communities, and our future are on the line. Temporary protected status, TPS, is not just a piece of policy. It is a lifeline. For decades, TPS holders from various countries have lived and worked here and contributed to this country. There are our nurses, there are our teachers, our pastors, our city workers, and our union members. In San Francisco, TPS beneficiaries are part of our labor unions, including SEIU 1021, Local 21, standing shoulder to shoulder to keep this city running. Together, We are 1.1 million TPS holders. We contribute over $11 billion in taxes each year and $40 billion in our economy. Ending TPS doesn't just hurt families, it hurts our country and it hurts our wallets.
Right.
But beyond the numbers, I want to share my personal story with my mother. My mother came here to this country fleeing violence, instability, searching for safety and opportunity. She went to night school to learn English. She also was certified as a nurse assistant. She has worked for Kaiser Permanente for 23 years as a proud union member, caring for patients and serving in the front lines. During the pandemic, her unit was the COVID unit. She risked her life and saved others when the country needed her the most. And yet, my mother did not get a chance to retire on her free will after decades of service. This Friday will be her last day at Kaiser. She won't be retiring with a celebration or with dignity, but instead leaving because her legal status is being stripped away. Her co-workers, people that she has stood beside with for more than 2 decades, are just knowing and learning that her colleague, their friend, will no longer be with them. Imagine giving so much of your life to your job, your patients, your union, your community, your city, only to be told overnight that you don't belong. Let's think about the generational trauma this has created. Over 360 children are U.S. born from TPS beneficiaries. They are their parents. Children will be separated from their parents, from their grandparents. Families will be ripped apart. We saw this at the border, and now it's happening in our own neighborhoods. To workers who have been here for decades with legal status. To make matters worse, the government is telling us to go back to a country that is no longer safe. The U.S. has issued travel advisories for Honduras, Nicaragua, Nepal, all these countries, saying that it's not safe to travel there because of the instability, the violence, and the insecurity. And yet they are forcing TPS holders to return to the same dangerous conditions they fled. What makes this harder is how invisible TPS has been in the national conversation. People don't know about TPS or the original generation, our parents. Parents like my mother, who has lived here for decades, pay taxes, work essential jobs, and has to renew her status every 2 years. Every renewal meant a background check, fingerprints, immigration fees, providing again and again that we belong, even as the government takes it all away. This is why we are here to say enough is enough. TPS holders deserve permanent protection, not uncertainty. And the only way to make this happen is through Congress. No more delays, no more empty promises. Our families cannot wait. And we want to be clear, everyone here today has a role to play. We need you to speak up. We need you to do phone banking. We need you to send emails to Congress, your senators, your legislatives, your assembly members. Urge them to pass an immigration reform now and to protect us.
San Francisco, how are we feeling today? We ready to march? Are we ready to fight? When workers' rights are under attack, what do we do? When workers' rights are under attack, what do we do? When immigrant rights are under attack, what do we do? So what do we do? That's right, and when we fight, when we fight, when we fight, Sonica, I'm with Mission Action, an immigrant and tenant rights organization here in San Francisco, and I'll be one of your MCs for today. Right now, we know that our immigrant brothers and sisters are facing the brunt of the attacks by Trump, the right wing, and the billionaires against the working class. Immigrants are being kidnapped from our streets, out of our neighborhoods, illegally and unlawfully. The Trump administration and ICE are trying to run a campaign of fear and terror against our immigrant communities and erase due process. But we know it's not just about immigrants. An attack on one of us in the working class is an attack on all of us. Is that right? They are attacking immigrants and scapegoating them for the problems that we face in this country. Increasingly, it's difficult, even with a union job, to afford basic necessities. It's difficult to afford to live in a home with your family, to send your kids to a good public school. But that's not the fault of immigrants. Immigrants aren't the criminals, and neither are the protesters that the Trump administration has been trying to arrest and criminalize just for standing up against these attacks. We know who the real criminals are, don't we? The real criminals are the billionaires, a very tiny minority of extremely wealthy people in this country who steal our labor to make themselves richer day after day. Those are the real criminals, not immigrants. So the reason that we are all here fighting for immigrants and workers is because we know that what they're doing to immigrants today, they could do to any of us tomorrow. But we also know that we are the 99%, and they are only the very few. They are the minority.
Caminando, caminando. Do it. Caminando, caminando. Caminando, walking and working. The reason we don't see too many day laborers, domestic workers here today is because they're working and being stepped upon. There's an agency out there called ICE, Inhumane Cruelty Enforcement. Inhumane Cruelty Enforcement. And we gotta get them to take the mask off and go back home. With my co-director, Guillermina Castellanos, we'll tell you just a little bit in the next 2 minutes we have left.
¡Que vivan los trabajadores! ¡Que vivan los jornaleros! ¡Que vivan las uniones!
¡Viva!
¡Las enfermeras, los maestros!
¡Viva!
¡Y que vivan las trabajadoras del hogar!
¡Viva!
¡Que a nivel nacional son 2 millones!
At the national level, there's 2.5 million domestic workers.
Y ahorita por la administración de el Trump están en peligro.
And because of Trump and his executive orders, they are all in danger. There's millions of day laborers, domestic workers now in danger.
Van a quitar el salario mínimo. No van a poder alzar el costo.
Threatening to take out the minimum wage, not even able to survive.
Y estamos luchando para parar esa mala situación, esa mala administración.
And we're struggling to stop this horrible administration.
Porque más de 2 millones de trabajadoras del hogar van a sufrir las consecuencias.
More than 2 million domestic workers are going to suffer the consequences of these decisions.
Ya ahorita ya estamos perdiendo salud y seguridad.
We're already losing our health and safety conditions.
Por eso estamos aquí con todos ustedes.
That's why we're here with all of you, to support ourselves mutually. Can we do it?
¡Los jornaleros!
Se puede.
¡Y que vivan las trabajadoras del hogar!
Last point. Join up with us. The project is called Adopt a Block. San Francisco, Oakland, Bay Area, Adopt a Block. Call us at 529-WORK, 415-529-WORK.